On today's episode of Open Box Policy, we have a nice little conversation tonight. It just kind of starts off natural. We actually end up starting the episode where we talk about, can you take the heat?
Adam cannot.
I can't take the heat. I said I could. We're not doing this. You have to listen to the episode. But I can take the heat. Devin and Jamie can't.
I'm not going to get out of this house with Adam alive because he's just going to corner me and say, give me all the shit you have on me.
Yeah, I must take the heat. Then we end up talking about the Grammys a little bit. It was a little weird. Lady Gaga had kind of a weird performance, and we talked about some of the weirdness, surrounding the Grammys and maybe some of the other award shows we've seen. And then the conversation literally just goes off on a tangent. That's why we're called Open Box Policy.
What do you expect?
It's an open box of thinking. And we come to the conclusion that Jamie and I are going to start an early Monday morning ghost adventure called Open Box Ghost or whatever the fuck that we arrived to. Tell us how much you want this to happen on our socials. Yes. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at OBP_raw.
And send us some more information about how much you want me and Devin to do a ghost. Not really hunting, just maybe talking about ghosts.
We're ghost
Monday
appreciating.
Morning at 7 a.m., tired as fuck. Yep. Super entertaining. Send us an email, obppodcast@gmail.com.
Peace. Adam, what
would you say?
There's a lot of things I could say.
Really?
Yep.
Say it.
No.
No, just say it off.
I'm just a better person than you. I don't like to hurt feelings.
This is bullshit. Say it.
The more you know. Shh.
Say it. You've got something. I want to hear it.
I got a lot of stuff, Adam.
Really?
Adam, hurt feelings hurt people.
Well, no. But this is the type. We don't calibrate ourselves enough. You don't spend enough time in your life actually asking someone yo, kind of give me your best shot, because sometimes we go through life and we think to ourselves, we're all kind of happy-go-lucky and everything's good, and we have this very specific way that we think about ourselves. Your self-confidence, your self-worth, and whatnot. I swear to God, I honestly think that sometimes it is really, really cathartic, and it's good for you to hear someone say some nasty stuff about you, or just to kind of recalibrate you. So you're like, well, maybe not everyone thinks that I'm the kind of grumpy, fun-loving guy. Maybe people think I'm just a huge asshole.
I guess my view of that is if you would have said that 10 years ago, I would have been yeah, come on, give me your best shot. But I know my weaknesses. I know my downfalls, and nobody needs to tell me that, let alone two people that I respect, and I feel like we don't hold back from each other for the most part, right?
Yeah, for the most part.
I mean, did we not learn anything from that one episode where I left crying? Come on.
Nobody knows that except
we've
for us.
never talked about that on air.
We don't have to talk about it, but it did happen. But we're over it, and we're all better from it, right?
Well, yeah, and I mean, obviously...
Stronger.
I think,
and when I say me learned, there's a and it's fucking stupid, and it's just so fucking stupid in retrospect. But
I just don't think that there's a wall between the three of us that I need to I think that you know what I think of you, both of you.
Well, off air. I mean, you've I know this sounds sick and it sounds sadistic. You've piqued my interest. Anytime that I'm around someone and they're like, "Oh, I know you, I got you," I can go for it right now.
I could fuck your life.
I have to hear it. I have to hear. So off air, will you please tell me?
No.
Why not?
Because you want it that bad. You want
Adam, this is what it felt like whenever I was talking to you and Josh, and I was like, "Come on, roast me," and you were like, "No, you can't take it.
You can't take it."
I was like, "Come on, I can take it."
Devin was like, "Be mean to me, rough me up," and Josh and I just looked at each other. We're like, "Nope, not going to do it," because we were going to go. Josh and I are a little bit older, wiser, nastier, and we're street smart. We were going to go so low on this kid.
Oh,
yeah. Josh and I looked at each other, and there was a gling, a little glimmer in our eye. And then I'm like, this is not a good idea.
No.
You want to know what's funny about that?
Devin's like the the heartbeat nice one of this podcast.
The heartbeat of America.
Because God knows that, like, we can all be awful, but if there's someone who's the least awful, it's clearly fucking
Devin.
And the one who puts in the most work over everything, fucking Devin. All day.
Yeah, but that's because Devin doesn't have a job.
Stop it.
Yeah.
You stop
You want to know
that.
what's funny, Adam?
Don't do weird whispers to me.
It was about 3 weeks ago, and it's something happened between me and Anna, and then she was like, "That's why I never make fun of you that much," because she said, "Because you can't take it." And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" I was like, "I can take it," and she was like, "That's why everybody makes fun of Adam because he can take it, but they don't make fun of you because you can't take it."
No, yes, validation.
Yeah, fuck my life, huh?
Yeah. Well, but the problem
it,
is that I've always been that guy. I'm an easy target. I softball a lot of stuff in for people. I will deliberately say things in front of people, and they'll just look at me and just knock it out of the park. Mm-hmm. I have been that way my whole life. I love being the butt of the joke to a point. So that will backfire on me, and it's backfired on me numerous times where I'm having a good time and I'm goofing off and I'm the butt of the joke.
And then it goes too far.
It sets off like a dry field in a match. Mm-hmm. Like everybody in the room is like, look at this fucking guy, look at this asshole. And then there's people in the room. Then there's people in the room that I don't know. Oh. So at a couple times at parties and whatnot.
Like my back quiver. I don't like that.
Yep. This has happened. This is a true story. Like there have been times that I've been somewhere and everyone's teeing off on my ass and everyone's like kind of swinging on my nuts and I'm like, ha ha ha, you know, that's funny and we're all having a good time. And then like the dude that I don't know is like, yeah, man, like, and you're fat too. And
it's like, whoa, you don't fucking know me.
Dude snapped around so fast. I'm like, listen, motherfucker, you don't know me. I got years with these dudes. Like we played football, we've worked, we've sweated, we've cried, we've bled. Don't ever fucking make the mistake of thinking that you can call me fucking fat. And they're just like, oh, man, I'm so sorry, man. I'm like, no, it's cool. I'm just going to go ahead and finish now. So go fuck yourself. You know, like.
Jesus, were you guys Marines?
Yeah, I know.
We sweated, we bled, we cried.
We worked at McDonald's together. Yeah.
We worked in fast food together.
Exactly. But I mean, seriously, like a lot of my football playing friends, you know, someone would just bust out. Like at a party, like, yeah, you're fucking stupid, man. Like, shut up, you asshole. Like, I like that person. I don't like you. Fuck you.
I think you love those friends the most, too, because everybody has that friend in their friend group where everybody just makes fun of them, right? Like, for me, it was our friend Chance, and we'd make fun of how small and scrawny he was, and then one summer, he came to high school, and he had shot up, like, he was probably, like, 6'4", and we were like, Jesus, Chance, but we still made fun of him. But we all loved him. We all loved him the most out of our friends, I think. And
yeah.
I feel like it builds that friendship more than being nice to each other, you know? And that's just, I don't want to sound sexist, but that's just guys. I was going to
say it's such a dude thing.
It is.
Yeah.
Which
we just bust each other's balls all the time.
In a way, isn't busting balls being like, I care about you because I can make fun of you and all that.
Yeah.
With girls.
I'll bust your balls, but I'll also take care of your balls.
Oh.
Yeah, that got weird.
That got really weird.
That was officially weird.
That got really quiet.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to read that. I just kept staring at him through the monitor. Like.
So, yeah, I know.
I was like, how do I read this?
He's not making any. Yeah.
He's not making a joke after this, but he's saying, I'll take care of your balls.
Yeah. So, honestly, when we get done off air, whatever it is that you were going to go so low on me on, I need to hear it, please. Please. I need it.
See, this was me. This was my response when I was like, come on, roast me, guys. Come on, I can take it.
Did you get your roast?
No, I didn't.
Oh, so Adam won't get his response.
Because they're pussies.
I am going to side with Devin there. No. You didn't give him a roast, so I'm not going to give you...
No, don't do this. You and I are closer than you and Devin.
That is...
I've known you longer.
Don't do this.
Yeah, and
oh my God, you're so fucking bothered.
So
your body looks bothered. You're
I am. Yeah, I'm officially bothered.
His face and body is just so bothered.
Well, here,
the thought that I won't tell him.
Devin, there was good reasoning behind me not wanting to tee off on Devin. There had been numerous times that maybe in a stressful situation, or maybe when Josh and I were like getting a little bit ornery, it came out on the podcast. Ornery,
not ornery.
I say ornery.
Ornery.
Okay, is that one of those?
I say ornery.
Okay, we say ornery.
Yeah, some people say ornery, like on. It doesn't matter. But he would get like super, super frustrated and butthurt. It came out on the podcast a few times when like one of us would say something and he'd be like, Jesus Christ, man. What the fuck? And you could like, yes. Like,
and I started crying.
Yeah, no, like old episodes, you would hear it in his voice like, look, I can't do anything right, like, or whatever. And we would start laughing. And I looked at him a couple times. I was like, well, he's serious. Like, he's like,
I was never that serious.
Bullshit.
About
He
it.
was frustrated.
I'm just a good actor.
I don't know.
I'm just
I remember
an actor,
the first
bro.
couple of times I guest hosted, I felt like you and Josh just fucking talked the whole time, and Devin just like put his word in every once in a while. And I was just like,
That's what I do now.
Well, that's why we finally had that episode where we were like, Devin finally makes a point. Josh and I had been teeing off on his ass for 20 fucking episodes, and then we're sitting here, and Devin's like, actually, according to historical record, blah, blah, and he says something, and we looked at each other, and I was like, that's a fucking...
I do
like, that's
I
a
do
great
have a
point.
lot of friends who listen to the podcast, and they really enjoy Devin. They think he's, including my husband, he thinks that Devin seems nice.
That's
and
not
sweet.
true.
Yes.
He told me today, he was like, that poof that's on the podcast, Devin?
Yeah.
He's an
Yeah.
You know
asshole.
that fucking
Yeah.
pussy that's on the podcast with you
The
guys?
poof.
He told me about, no, maybe that was Josh. When I went to Home Depot.
Oh, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, and he walked down the aisle, and I thought it was with you, but then I think it was Josh. They made eye contact, and it was kind of like they kind of knew each other, but they had never met each other. It was some
Josh.
weird thing, and then he asked Josh for something. But we passed by Home Depot not that long ago. He goes, is Devin working? I was like, Devin doesn't live here.
Yeah.
He doesn't live here anymore.
Devin's been in Atlanta for 5 months.
Did you all watch the Grammys?
Fuck no.
No. I had planned on it. We had a family in town, so we didn't. We were watching something else, but I figured I would see all the highlights and the
Which, yeah.
things, extravagant things or horrible things that happened.
I don't watch
yeah.
awards shows anymore.
I like them, but all the big stuff that happens, you see the next day.
And
on the
highlights.
internet,
It's
so.
like a football game, yeah.
Yep.
I
So
always catch it on like Snapchat and shit. So
Do you
anyway.
Snapchat?
Yeah, I know.
Gross.
Again, yeah.
Sorry, I love you, Devin. but
sorry,
oh
I'm
my
like
God.
10 years younger than you guys.
Oh, it's what you're
fuck.
15 years younger than me. Yeah.
Fuck.
I know
God damn it.
it's crazy.
I'm so depressed.
Yeah. I know.
Yes, Grammys, please
I
move
was
on.
getting raging erections when Devin was born.
Oh,
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So
That's it.
I always watch that stuff for the totally ridiculous stuff, and for some of the performances at the Grammys, they pull out all the stops. They don't lip sync a lot of times, and they'll blow it out of the water. Of course, the only performer that was lip syncing was that piece of trash, Cardi B.
she lip sync?
Yeah, she was lip syncing.
I thought her whole.
Didn't she win like the best
Yes.
rap song or something?
Yeah, she
Really?
her lip syncing was so bad that she was getting tired during her.
I gotta look up this video.
So she would be like, yeah, nah, 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 and she'd be dancing, and then you would see her get tired, and then she would just be mouthing the words. And it was
Yeah.
like really upbeat, but then she's just like, meh, 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 just like
I
mouthing
watched-
the words. It was fucking terrible.
I watched highlights tonight actually, and the main one I watched, it wasn't very long. I watched a Dolly Parton tribute.
Oh, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was pretty damn good.
Now I had read about how everybody was saying how Katy Perry overdid it, and then everybody was so surprised that Miley Cyrus could sing. But I saw her
Miley
do a
Cyrus
Joe.
is an amazing voice.
Yes, I saw her
Yeah,
do
she's
a
been
Joe.
able to sing since she was like 12.
Yeah, I mean, Dolly Parton's her goddamn godmother.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing a
Goddamn
video
godmother.
of her doing Jolene, an acoustic backyard thing when she was like fucking 16, and it was amazing.
Yeah. Now, I'm
Yeah.
not a huge fan of Miley Cyrus's voice
I agree.
because she sounds like a 75-year-old lounge singer.
But she can belt when she wants to. She's I agree with
She
you.
does.
Yeah.
Jolene.
She can yodel.
Jolene.
Yeah.
Jolene.
Have you seen that one when she was younger?
Jolene.
She just is like, she's a little bit less raspy and like,
Hey,
yo.
all that.
Before she started smoking 2 packs a day.
Yeah. Well, and Miley turns on this a little too much country in her accent, and she's
Her twang.
it's a little too much twang. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about was something that was just thanks for hijacking it. What I wanted
was not that.
Yeah, it's not that. So I always I love when someone gets up at the Oscars or the Emmys or the Grammys or whatever, and they are they're flabbergasted
Right?
when they win.
Oh,
And
that's my favorite.
they're struggling, and then the music plays, and they're like, "Oh my God, I want to thank Devin and Jamie and Adam."
That's my favorite.
Yeah, because they're so overwhelmed, and they're crying, and their fans are freaking out, and they thank their fans. Sometimes they'll thank God, and everyone goes apeshit.
They don't know what to do because their speech they kind of wrote went out the fucking
It's
window.
raw.
It's awesome.
because they're emotional.
It's it's raw. It's emotional. So, Lady Gaga gets up on stage and like presents this thing with Michelle Obama and a few other girls.
Jennifer Lopez. I saw a picture of it.
Yeah, Jennifer Lopez and Will Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, and
I just saw a picture of it. I didn't actually see the
it
video.
doesn't.
Yeah.
Anyway, she gets up, she presents. Now,
What was the award for?
it wasn't an award. It was just like women power,
Tribute?
like
Okay.
feminism and stuff, and it was cool.
Yeah.
So Lady Gaga is in tip-top shape. She performs and screams and runs and she jumps and she does all this stuff for hours and hours
What
and hours
song?
on end.
Oh.
So to get her out of breath is a miracle, okay? She goes and she walks down the stairs and she stands around the corner because she knows she's up for the next award. They call her.
Oh no.
And she throws her hands over her mouth. And as soon as I saw it, I was like,
she won.
This is not genuine. Yeah, she won. This is not genuine. Like, she has
This is over the top.
She has a garage full of Grammys and awards. This is not her first time. She's won them, and I understand that you still want to show like that. You're like, I can't believe I won. She walks up to the microphone, and she immediately is like, oh, thank you. Oh, God. Oh, thank you. And I was like, what the fuck is she doing?
I gotta look that up.
So she starts going like making that cry face, but there's not a single drop of water in her dry eyes. Like, oh God, thank you.
Well, she
it's
won.
fucking insane.
Can't wait for people to tune into this episode halfway through.
Yeah, on this episode, Adam breathes hard.
When she won, was it the Academy Award? What was it that she won recently? Academy Award for
A Star Is
movie.
Born.
For something.
Yes, and she got up there. And she seemed really genuine. She the whole fluster thing. She was flustered. She was trying to think like Bradley Cooper, and like she was crying, and there were tears and Bradley Cooper and stuff like that. And I was like, oh my God, that's so great.
Yeah,
but
this was fake.
Yeah,
it was obviously fake. And then I watched every other person that got up there, and they were like a deer in the headlights. Like, oh man, I did not expect this. This is unbelievable.
But
so if she'd have gotten up there and she would have been like, I want to thank my fans and like you all are amazing. But it was like
crying.
this heaving, hyper,
not fake cried.
this heaving and hyperventilating. And I'm just one of those people that's like, yo, if like an NFL star gets up on stage who's in like the most tip-top shape in the world and he's like heaving and hyperventilating, I don't believe it. This guy, like they don't need to hyperventilate. They're not sucking oxygen like I am. I walk up the stairs at the Grammys and I'd have to lean over and probably put my hands on my knees.
I think I don't
like,
think it's a matter
seriously.
of that. I think it's a matter of
she wants to be an actress and she loves all the acting.
But she doesn't. Yeah, and I agree with you. She doesn't have to do that. And the problem is, it's going to come across as very fake and insincere, which makes people go, "Well, I don't like that."
Well, then she performed. And
what did she perform?
She performed that song. She did her and Bradley Cooper's part.
It sounded just like it.
Yeah.
She went.
You're basically Lady Gaga.
You're basically Lady Gaga. Yeah.
I am.
Yeah. She went. Her performance was so weird. You have to watch it. I can't believe that I sent it to you ahead of time. She is gyrating and like screaming and freaking out and moving around and kicking her legs in the air, and it's like kind of it's just a normal song. You know what I mean?
It's a
like
kind of
a
a depressing
slow-
song, honestly.
Yes.
Yeah.
People have been like, there've been literally people that have just come out and they're like, I think something's wrong with Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
Like there's something wrong with her. And we all know she struggles with heavy mental health issues. She has a lot of pain issues, a lot of depression issues. She did like a documentary about how fucked up she is, and I get it. But seeing her at the Grammys, the moral of the story is seeing her at the Grammys made me think to myself, like Amy Winehouse. Like she's about to go off the deep end. I think she's about to go off the deep end.
Amy Winehouse.
I don't.
yeah, not the cute.
I didn't know you were talking about like she's about to go off the deep end, Amy Winehouse.
No, I don't see that.
Yeah.
I don't think that she
Made
is.
me want to go to rehab.
I don't think
Sorry.
she's off like doing drugs and being out of her mind performing, because she has a very successful acting music career, and part of her thing has always been giving a shock value. Like, it's always been that way.
She wore a meat dress.
Well, she's done a lot of fucked up shit, but that's kind of her whole like, this is me, I don't give a fuck, blah blah blah. I think that
that's the cool thing to do these days.
I don't know. I think that she likes herself too much to put herself into oblivion.
I would love to think so. Well, we know she's on drugs because she's on pain management. She's got like a bum hip, and she takes all these takes all these opiates and stuff. And as far as we know, and I think she's had problems with alcohol and drugs in the past.
Yeah.
But it was the first time that all the antics, all the weird shit, the meat dress, wearing like a dress covered in dildos or whatever the fuck she would do to a award show, that is screaming for attention. And I could kind of appreciate it because she would do that and be stone-faced about it.
Yeah.
She dressed like a normal person and looked like someone who's strung out on meth.
Yeah.
Like, it was kind of weird.
The first time I ever saw her, which if I have any lady listeners, they will know.
We don't.
Well,
I've seen the demographic
anybody
list.
who watched MTV, like The Hills or The OC.
Oh, yeah.
Or Laguna Beach.
Oh, yeah.
One of Lauren's first clients was addressing Lady Gaga before she was famous.
Really?
Whoa.
Yep, and you can find a picture of Lady Gaga looked rough.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to the OC.
And
She's had a ton of plastic surgery. She doesn't even look like the same person.
Yeah,
I was watching it with.
Preferred her. Like, I remember watching that. I still remember watching that thing of like where they spent like a whole day dressing her, and it was extravagant and weird dressing, and they were all like, I don't know if this works, but she was like normal,
very normal,
and pretty. And then
she's always been attractive. She came up on the screen. And
she still is now.
Of course she is, but I was watching it with Jacqueline, and she came up on the screen, and I'm like, damn, man, Lady Gaga's had some work. And Jacqueline was like, wait, is she off the screen now? And I was like, that's Lady Gaga.
But
she's on the screen.
Have you watched A Star Is
She's on
Born?
the screen right now. So, no, I haven't. And even Jacqueline was like, oh, my God. Her lips are all puffed up. Her face is all hard from Botox.
But to be fair, I think she's had some work done, but she hasn't had work that you would assume she'd have done. Part of the whole thing on A Star Is Born is how her nose is fucked up. That's part of it. That's like the whole movie about how they say she can't get it, and it's her face. And you would think if she looked, I mean, it really is.
Wait, it's a whole movie about how her real face is fucked up. She does
this whole profile thing, and then she's on a billboard, and they're like, "Oh my God, look!"
If Lady Gaga wasn't fucked up enough, they just did a whole movie about her. She has a fucked up face.
Drove her the wrong
they talked about that. She's on a billboard, and Brad Cooper's like, "Look at that big nose now." Like they talked about it. So like, I think that she's had normal work done but less work than probably most.
But she's also okay. I'll give you that, but I kind of don't agree with it.
You have to watch the movie.
You need to watch the Grammys. I mean, she looks
Has
like
her face changed.
Yes,
and
she looks like a poster boy girl for Botox. Anyway,
poster boy girl.
Yeah, she's talked about how she has like really, really bad issues with self-confidence, self-worth, self-esteem, and how I think that she's like, that's why I would dress crazy, and that's why I would cover my face, and like all this stuff. I don't know. It's just weird.
I don't know. Like,
do you think this podcast will hurt her?
No, to be honest, who the fuck
we should send it to her.
Who the fuck are we to like judge Lady Gaga? Honestly, look at the three of us.
Our opinion is our opinion.
Adam,
we can
look
judge
at me.
Anybody that we want, Jamie.
Now look at Devin. Devin, look at us.
We're looking at each other. Devin just waved at us.
Who the fuck are we to judge Lady Gaga, who's fucking killing it? I'm just saying. We kind of sound like assholes. We kind of sound like downer assholes.
I'm a guy that'll never find any real love.
Oh,
he'll be in middle management for the rest of his life, and he'll probably die early with a glass of whiskey in his hand and a little overweight.
That sounds like you? It's kind
of scary.
Makes me sad.
Jamie, you're suggesting that we shouldn't judge people who are richer than us.
No, I want to die in your backyard playing with your kids. That'll be fun.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Scar their life.
Yeah. Let's go running, Elle.
Adam's laying down.
Yeah.
Just Porter, dig a hole. He wants to be back there.
Mommy, Adam fell. So, oh man, I went to a Mexican restaurant with my niece and nephew, and my nephew stuffed this like a BB in a straw, and he couldn't blow it out, and his face was turning red. So I was like, give it to me, and I took it, and I blew on this until I could feel like one of those pops, like you feel like the pop in your face or your neck where it's like you're blowing, something so hard. And I started laughing, and he started laughing. And I was like, what would be hilarious in the middle of this meal with the entire family is if Uncle Adam just keeled over with a heart attack. And he was like dying. He thought it was hilarious. My mom and my sister and her husband and everyone else at the table, except for my niece, she thought it was hilarious, were like, that is messed up. So then I just took it up a notch. And I'm like, wouldn't that be a funny story to tell your friends? Like, I went to have Mexican last night. My uncle died. It was hilarious.
We talk about death a lot in our house because I like murder and death so much.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, Elle sees a bunch of dead people, so
that is true. And so, like, it's always just been around us. But I like Glenn. I mean, not Glenn. Porter can see something on TV like Jurassic Park, and a gun gets shot in, and then Porter will be like, "That guy died." I'm like, "Yep, he died." Where's he going? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Is he going up or
No
down?
one knows.
I'm like, I don't know how good of a person he was. And he'll be like,
He'll say, is he going up or down?
Yep. And he'll
Down.
go, he'll go down. I'm like, I don't know. What did he do? And he'll either talk about how they killed a dinosaur, didn't kill one, and then that's how he decides.
Jesus, your kids are
I know,
crazy,
they're
Jamie.
special.
Do you ever talk in voices
What do you mean?
to your? Yeah, I know. I didn't really. There was no context.
Yeah, right. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I
Adam's about to go
I
full
could do like a
psychiatrist
really
on you.
cool
Yeah.
death metal screen karaoke.
No,
but,
like
what
to
do
your
you mean
kids.
by-
Like, do you like squeak or like
No.
put your voice deep and stuff like that? Like,
No. I've never even done baby talk because I hate baby talk. I love my children, but I never was like, oh my God. The closest I'll
Nobody
get is
likes
like,
baby
oh,
talk.
you're so nice.
see,
But
I-
both of my kids will do this. My Elle will come to me. She'll be like, what does this sound like, Mom? And I'll
Yeah.
be like, that's
my
fun.
God.
I'll be like, that's fun. And she's like, Mom, listen. I'm like, I'm working. This is fine.
Yeah.
And then Porter will come and be like, Mom? And I'm like, okay.
I've been using voices and like talking in funny voices my whole life. And what's funny is that I always, since I was like in college, people were like, hey, has anyone ever told you have like a radio voice? And I was like, oh, really? That's kind of cool. And then I started hearing it, and people started more and more people were like,
Yeah.
oh, you kind of have your voice is, especially when I like turn it on. But
This guy likes listening to himself talk.
exactly. This is the kind of guy that listens to his podcast in the morning while he's in the shower. So but my whole life, I've always done like kind of voices that were in my range. So I was talking to my niece and nephew, and I always do this. I always mimic them the same way. I'm like, no, Uncle Adam, like don't do that.
Yeah.
And that's how I always mimic them. So I was like saying like, my uncle died last night at dinner. It was hilarious, and like they all think it's funny. But a few nights ago at work, we have this treatment facility that's really old, and it's perched up on a hill, and it's in an old monastery, and we
Full of
left up.
ghosts?
We left up
Jesus.
all of the effigy because it's a historical monument. So there's like crosses and stuff around, but it's kind of on a dark old hill.
Wait, where is this?
I can't talk about it.
Can you tell me when we're off air?
Yeah,
That's,
it's fine.
So I
that's
can-
confidential.
so I can go
Jamie.
there
But I
next
mean,
weekend?
I gotta remain, whatever. So I'm in
That's confidential.
I'm in this meeting full of people, and someone is like, man, I got this client driving into the treatment facility, and they're driving in like really late. And I'm like, well, where? And they said the name of the facility, and I was like, oh shit! Like it's like stuck. There's like graveyards and stuff around.
Oh, good.
So we were
My
sitting there,
favorite.
and I was like, imagine this client walking up to the front door with one of those lion heads with like the big
Right.
iron thing that's like, doosh, 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 and then like
It's like a 90s horror film.
yeah, they open the door, and like there's a man behind it who's like, good evening,
So
good evening.
I'm going
please come in."
to Chicago the first weekend in March with my two girlfriends. We're all moms.
Ooh, love Chicago.
We're going there for we're going there for a museum exhibit. So we're going to the SNL exhibit at the Broadcast Museum because we all are huge fans since we were tiny little kids.
Oh, Anna would love that.
Yeah, we're obsessed. So we were looking at hotels to book. And the three of us were all like a group messaging. And one of my other friends was like, you should do this one. It's haunted. And I, of course, threw that in the mix. And they were like, oh, yeah, let's look it up. And I didn't say it was haunted. And both of my friends were like, that's haunted. And I was like, yeah, it's totally haunted. Let's fucking do it. Nobody wanted to.
Was it the Shining Hotel in Chicago?
I would do it. I stayed in a haunted hotel one time.
I fucking love it.
I've actually been to the hotel where they filmed The Shining in Colorado.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was a fucking cool
Oh,
experience.
really?
Oh, I bet that place is amazing.
Oh,
yeah.
my
Yeah, it
God. I
was.
would love to be there.
Yeah, there was like a place in Cincinnati that I stayed one time, and when we were checking in, I made some comment about, like, wow, this is like a really old place, and he was like, yeah, there's like all these ghost stories and stuff, and at first I was like, what? He was like, no, seriously. He goes, matter of fact, the floor that you're staying on, people consistently hear a piano playing, but the funny thing is there's no pianos, and he said, but
That's how every Scooby-Doo episode
I know,
starts out.
I know.
But the funny thing is there's no piano.
Yeah. But yeah, he started talking about it, and he was like, oh, people hear footsteps, and he was very convincing, and he basically got to the point where I had to ask him to stop. I was like, stop. Like, I'm kind of getting a little freaked out. And he was like, well, we love to keep a log. So if you hear a little boy like squealing, if you hear children playing, if you hear a piano or feet walking around in your room, let us know.
See,
and I was like, dude, you just
I'm going somewhere else.
the 48 hours for the rest of my life that I'm here are going to be sleepless. Thank you.
The idea of ghosts just it intrigues me.
Yeah.
I will read anything about it, any paranormal activity. You know, I always thought it was great, and then I had my daughter who obviously has that sort of
powers
issues or whatever, and she still continues them. But if you have to put me in the middle of it, like if it's my kid seeing things that I don't see, then I can just say, okay, and not allow her to be scared by it. As long as I'm not seeing creepy shit, I'm okay. So the idea of a haunted hotel sounded awesome, but I know that if I showed up, What did you just do on your phone?
Are you fucking kidding me? I told Devin that we need to finish soon.
You guys did some weird little eye movement thing.
I was like, we need to finish soon, and he said, on your face, and I said, fuck you.
Did you send the Dwight thing?
Yes. I said, let's finish. He said, on your face.
Good job, Devin.
Yeah. So what?
Thank you.
All right.
I have nothing to say.
Jamie, are we going to start our own paranormal activity thing?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Like a team?
Let's do it like every Monday night.
Ooh,
So Adam
yes.
can't be involved.
Nothing's more scary. Better yet, let's do it Monday morning. Nothing's as scary as a Monday morning.
Yeah.
Welcome to Devin and Jamie's Paranormal Monday morning
Yeah.
coffee
In broad
session.
daylight.
Yeah. Let's
And
do it
both
on
of
Friday
us are-
night when Adam doesn't know
Real
if he's
quick,
still going to be employed Monday morning. That's scary.
Yeah.
You're
Real
not
quick
included
before
in
we,
this, Adam.
Fuck you.
It's
God
me and
damn it,
Devin.
Jamie.
What?
Anyway, before we wrap up, do you guys believe those shows and shit?
No.
Like the Paranormal Activity where they go out?
No.
and
Fake.
hunt for 'em?
Fake as all get out.
I believe in paranormal activity. I don't believe in the shows. I just don't.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
The fakest show that I've ever seen is Ghost Adventures with that huge, like, buff guy.
Yep.
He's always like, "What was that, bro?"
There was
heard a noise, man.
he
Come
did
eat me, bro.
He's the guy who did the documentary, and he bought a house in Indianapolis. Or no, Goshen. No,
Zach Bagans.
the one up north where Michael Jackson lived.
It's getting
Gary,
cold in here,
Gary.
man. Something touch me.
Gary, and at the end of the documentary, he had his crew board him into the house so he could spend the night in the house by himself. And it was a lot of like, what the fuck is that? Fight me. It was
Yeah, he does that a lot.
Yes.
Zach Bagans.
Yes.
He's like, "Fight me."
yeah, you can watch it anywhere
It's
now.
so fake.
Yeah.
You should watch it, Adam.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna send you a YouTube clip.
But
Zach Bagans from.
But besides
Ghost
that, like, I
Adventures.
think that me and Devin are gonna go off on our own ghost hunting podcast. So.
Yeah.
You shit.
Stay tuned.
You should.
Open box policy.
I was
Ghost Adventures.
going to say you should, and it came out
You
as
said
you
you
shit. Yeah.
He's mad.
You shit. All right.
Jamie, is our ghost adventure thing going to be called Open Box Policy Ghost? Open the ghost box.
Open the ghost box.
Yeah.
That's the lamest name ever.
Box.
That was my second lamest name that I had tonight.
But you know what? I support
first one
you.
was the first
I
name
don't
that
bring
I
you
said.
down like Adam.
Thank you. Stay tuned.
Welcome.
Monday mornings, the scariest day of all. We're going to start our own ghost adventure story. This is Devin.
This is Jamie. Oop.
Bye.
God, you fucked him.
Yeah.
Now nobody's gonna know who he is.
No, it's over. Bye, everybody.